Thursday. This is the fourth of 4 installments. Ableton Live for beginners. Gonna have a lot of fun today for the next half an hour. My name's Darren Kramer. Glad to see you here. We're going to learn today how to create your own loops, but using your own instruments that you choose pulling out of the browser. We're going to get right to it. If you need to contact me and have questions going forward, please reach out. You can always find me Electric Trombone DJ on YouTube, Facebook, and the direct website. I also have these websites, DKO Electro Horns, that's my 4-piece horn section with Ableton, and lots of tutorials and everything on dkolessons.com. But let's get right to it. If you recall, you open up a live set. This is what it looks like. 2 MIDI tracks, 2 audio tracks. It's all blank. If you recall as well from our first lesson a month ago, if you have this window open in the lower left, it's an instant manual. Anything you mouse over, it will tell you what it is. So you can turn that on here. And we also said go to Help View, do a tour of live, and open up that set where there's pre-made music so that you can learn the program using these 11-page tutorial that's built in. I highly recommend you do this. Even if you're an intermediate user, going back and reading this and actually doing the tutorial will really help you. And then when you open it up, you have music and arrangement view and session view. Remember, we get back and forth between those with the selector here on the upper right. There's arrangement view where it's horizontal, and session view is where the tracks go vertical. Notice there's no information in here. There's no colored clips. There's no scene names because this is a brand new set, and that's because today we're going to do something really fun and create our own loops the same way we did last session, but this is going to be with instruments and devices that you pull in. So how do we do that? Open up the browser here in the upper left. And notice I have 4 tracks. What we're going to do today is a MIDI track of drums, MIDI of bass, MIDI of keyboard, and then we're going to do a special thing we haven't done before, an audio track of our voice. So let's get that set up right away. Let's go ahead and highlight one of these audio tracks and throw it away. Actually, I threw away both. That's cool. We can insert a MIDI track here. So now we have 3 MIDI tracks because we're going to do drums, bass, and keyboards. And then we're going to have an audio track, which we're going to use our voice and show you how to record quickly with a microphone. So let's get started. If I want to create drums, I go to the drums category, and you can sample through these by just clicking on them. If you don't hear anything, it's because you have this little icon down in the lower left is not checked. Make sure it's blue. And then you can sample these quickly. This is a really popular one, an 808. So let's pull that in. I click and drag and pull it onto the first MIDI track, and notice the track then gets called what the kit is called. So all these sounds live in here, and we're going to create our own MIDI loop. So remember, we double click here and a 1-bar loop is created, but there's nothing in it, so we got to put stuff in it. So make sure this blue headphone icon is lit here, and we can hear the sounds using clicking on this MIDI keyboard. We go all the way to the bottom. There's a kick drum. Let's put something on, say, 1 and 3. Here's beat 1, beat 2, beat 3. If I go and play it, remember we added then a snare drum. It's typical to have that on beat 2 and 4. Very simple. We can add our hi-hats. We did 8 notes last time. Let's do that again. I can double click and create them, or I can highlight them all and copy and paste just like you do text. We can change the tempo up here in the upper left by clicking and dragging up or down. Let's say we're going to do 110. You can also type it in. It's 109, right? I can't get it just right. Boom, I hit that. I typed it in. You can stop it here. One thing we didn't talk about is that it's really good to just put something simple and know that you did it and have some accomplishment, but you can change any of these things around so that it's a different rhythm, or you can add extra beats. So I could copy this and put another one here, these hi-hats, and it'll sound different. You hear that hi-hat? It's different because look at all these are in a row. It's pretty good. I'm going to leave it. So now let's have a bass. So we go over here under sounds and we look around for a bass. So here's our bass category. Same deal. If this little icon is on, you can click and listen. You can just use your arrow key and quickly go through looking for something. Notice I have a red dot by some of these. Those are my favorites. So I know this is a really good one. I'm going to use it. So there's our instrument. If you want to see what's created it, it's right here. Here's the actual synth with the oscillators and effects, and you can change all that stuff. We're not going to worry about that for now. We're just going to and actually, you know what I want to do? I want to color this so it looks a little neater. So I hit Control, like a right click, and then you can make these different colors. Let's do the red. So look at that. And while we're at it, let's change that to maybe yellow or something. Our drums. So this is our bass. It's red. There's nothing in there. We double click. We're going to create a little bass part. Since it's bass, it's usually lower, so I'm scrolling down. Yeah. Let me just do a couple of those. Maybe I'll hit some E flats, maybe longer. See what happens. What's it sound like? I want those maybe a little longer, a little more meat to them. Boo doo doo. I like it. One thing we didn't do before either was we're only dealing with 1-bar loops. You can make them any length you want, and it's right here to the left of this little keyboard here. Notice it says 1 is the length. So let's make it 2. Notice now the loop down here has gotten twice as long. So maybe we'll spread this out a little bit. I'm going to click, drag these over, and be maybe something like boom. I'm going to option drag this. Yeah. But notice the drum loop is still just 1 bar. So he's doing the same thing every bar. The bass has a 2-bar pattern. They work together nicely, and they're all on the grid because of this right here, this 1-bar grid. I almost never take it off of 1 bar. That means if you click a clip in the middle of the measure, it'll wait till beat 1 so everything stays synced up and sounding pretty. Let's do a new part. We're going to make this a keyboard of some kind. So again, we're in our browser, sounds. Let's do maybe a pad. How about, that's kind of neat. I just click and drag, pull it over. There's the wavetable that's creating the sound. Again, we're not going to worry too much about that. This is a beginner course. We're going to create some notes. Remember, we're kind of in C or C minor. you can just have fun and kind of click some notes and see how it sounds. Pull it out, make it longer. Maybe we go and, what's this sound like? We solo. You see how short that is? It's barely even heard. So I could pull it out. But that's going to be kind of get repetitive too much and kind of get annoying, I think. So let's make this 2 bars as well. So let's just move these around a little bit and see how it feels. How about we just hold this out? I'm liking it. So we have drums, we have bass, we have keyboards. That was all like 5 minutes, and if I wasn't talking, I could create that in probably 1 minute. So you'll get better as you do it more often. And if you notice, on all 4 of these episodes, I've repeated things numerous times. I've given a lot of thought to this. I've been teaching for 30 years. I've been a full-time musician my entire life. I give a lot of thought of how do you learn things and what's the best way. And I've really found you got to do something at least 5 times before it starts to get semi-comfortable. So if you finding yourself struggling a little bit, take a step back and repeat. Go back to something you know. Go back to an earlier episode. Go to the Ableton Live website, just ableton.com. There's a lot of information there with video tutorials, and the user manual is excellent. So we have those 3. Remember, if we want to play all those at once, we play with the scene here, and we just have to click the little play button. Right? And then I stopped everything with the stop all button, which is right here. And how do we know it's a stop all button? When I mouse over it, if you look in the very left-hand corner, it says stop all clips button. So you just do this stuff, slow repetition, and you'll get it. Plus, you can reach out to me anytime and ask questions. Darren Kramer is my name. I'm in Denver, Ableton certified trainer, and you can contact me, electrictrombonedj.com. This 4th one, we're going to have a special thing. We haven't done audio yet. So MIDI is basically in the box playing instruments that are built into the program. An audio track captures waveforms from something by plugging it into the computer, like a keyboard or a microphone or your guitar cable. So it's a slightly different way of doing things, but it's all music, so it's cool. So it is a different track. Notice when I created that, I chose audio track, and it looks different here. Plus, you can see in the middle, these say MIDI from, this says audio from. So how are we going to get the sound of me talking into the computer? That is the question. For you, you don't need anything except your computer, believe it or not. There's a built-in microphone, and you just have to turn that on and make sure Ableton sees it. So here's how you do it. I highly suggest memorizing the shortcut for preferences, Command, comma, because I go there 10 or 20 times a day. So instead of having to go over here and choose preferences, you can just hit Command, comma, and go to the audio tab. And how is that sound getting into your computer? I'm using an interface, but it most likely be defaulting to built-in microphone. So I would choose that. And the output would be built-in output, which is your speakers on your computer or your headphone jack. We'll do a separate intermediate tutorials on all of this stuff. I'm just pushing the envelope a little bit. If you don't understand it, don't worry. End with drums, bass, and keyboards, and enjoy the fact that you've really learned a lot. If you're not seeing your signal, I am. You can see the little green button here. The little green meter is showing that there's input. If you don't see anything there, go into your preferences of your sound on your computer, whether it's Windows or Mac, and you'll have to make sure that your input is happening there, that maybe the level just got turned down. And so turn up your internal microphone and then make sure it's on in Ableton, and you should see stuff. Now, how do we record? We were just double clicking in these clip slots for the MIDI. That's not how this works. We have to record it in. So you do that by hitting this red record enable button. They call it arm recording over here on the left, right? So then you notice these little clip slots turn into circles, which is different than these stop buttons. So this is like telling you, okay, we're ready to go. If I click this little button and I'm talking, right away you can see there's the waveform. And then if I stop, I just hit the stop button and there it is. We want to listen to it. I play the clip. And I'm talking, right away you can see there's the waveform. And then if I stop, I just hit the stop button. Cool. And it'll just keep looping because that's how long I recorded it. This gets to be a lot of fun. I would go ahead and turn this to auto when you want to play it back. But you heard my voice change there because now it's taking my talk voice and my microphone that I'm using for this tutorial. But so we have that. Let's do it one more time. I'm going to click it, start talking. You can say anything. 1, 2, 3. Make noises. I like to do that double voice thing. And all kinds of stuff. Make sure that, notice the waveform isn't touching the edges of this clip, which means that's good. It's all in a good recording volume instead of clipping. So anytime I hit the stop or I even hit it, the launch button, start talking. You can say it starts playing again. So that's kind of cool. Here's something we didn't do before. We can go and find sections of this we like. Maybe we don't like all of that talking, but we just want to hear this bit right in the middle. I can move this start marker, and as soon as I hit the clip, it'll start there. Make noises. That's funny. And then if your loop marker is on here, we can just make that loop, just that section. So you can take a little piece of what you recorded. So notice it's 1 bar. I wasn't thinking of time, but it still has to put it in sort of time so everything else can line up. So here it is. I play it. Make noises. 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 So that's already pretty cool, right? Way fun. So start messing with this. Remember how we copied and pasted the individual notes like in a drum clip? We can do that with an entire clip. So I'm highlighting here on my vocal, copy it, paste it. Here's a duplicate of it. But I want this one to play somewhere different, maybe on this big loud thing. Let's see what that sounds like. How do I know it's loud? Because this is bigger and wider than this. So this is probably going to be kind of loud. And I like it. Let's do it again. Let's go find another section. Let's see what I'm saying down here. In a good, it's all in a good, it's all in a. Now here's something neat. Let me stop these clips. And just in a good, it's all. Here's something neat. You can go over here and mess with this transposition. I'm turning it up 9 half steps. You can turn it up anything, and I go higher like the chipmunks.
In a good, it's all.
So that's cool. Let me copy and paste and do a different one. Maybe we want something kind of low, maybe in here. So what if we take it down a bit?
3, you can say anything.
And then how about one more, and we just make me reverse. So we play this one, we're going to clear it out, and I'm going to hit this little reverse button, and then I'm talking backwards. So those are all neat. You can label these, Command R, reverse. Here's low, here's high, here's yell, and here's maybe we just call it talk. So now we kind of can see what they are. I might even label this talk, my voice. So that's how I created that. There might be some questions, so you should stay tuned every Thursday at noon, and I'm going to start explaining how to move a little farther into Ableton Live. But before we go, I want to show you something cool. Here's why Ableton is so unique and awesome. Remember, we hit the record button here into arrangement view, and then forget about it and start going, I want to hear that reverse talk again. I like it.
One, two, three. Saying it. One, two.
In a good. It's all. In a good. It's all.
Make noises. Make noises. Make noises. Make noises. And make noises. Make noises. You could do that for an hour. Let's stop all. Go here and hit the selector to go to arrangement view, or you can hit the tab button and notice here's all my information. But it's grayed out. Remember, we have to hit the back to arrangement so we can hear the stuff we recorded. And then you notice, what did I have come in? The bass right here. Maybe I don't want 4 rounds of this, like that's too much. I could just peel this back. I could highlight sections of it and delete it like text. Let's say we want 2 rounds of it. Drums. And you can see these are labeled. Now it's low. I switched it. If you don't want that to switch, you can just drag this one out. I did that in the moment, but it's so cool. You can just do what you want, called improvising. You record it into the arrangement view, and then you can edit your improvisation, which is basically mixing, which is basically arranging so that you can make the song exactly how you want. If you notice, right now, we went about 1 minute and 3 seconds for this song. However, there's nothing happening at the beginning. So that's because I started the record button, but we didn't play any clips yet, which is fine. I can just highlight this area here, which is the master track, and I can go up here and say edit, delete time, and that will go away. Now when I press start, it'll start at the top. So that's really cool. Lots of stuff with automation and mixing. You can change the levels. You can add effects like reverb, delay, chorusing, any sort of plethora of effects that Ableton includes, or you can use third-party plugins called VSTs, and lots of fun. If you can dream it, you can do it in Ableton Live. Here's a final thing we'll close with. What if you wanted to play this for your friends? Here's how you do it. Quickly, you just highlight the length of the song you want. Notice here's all the information. These are the clips of music, and I'm highlighting on the master track. So I'm saying all of this I want to bounce out, mix out, and make it an MP3. So I go here to File, Export Audio. You get a window with all these choices. I would not mess with any of that. I'd turn off the wave. You don't need the full file. You just want an MP3. Turn this one on right here. Make it yellow. Hit Export. Name it. my song. Look where it's going. It's going to the desktop. It's rendering the whole thing, making it all a stereo file, which then you can email to your friends, put it on your phone, and share it. And that's the beauty of music. So thanks for being here. I hope you learned a lot. If you have questions, hit me up. You can always find me here. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Lots of great tutorials and music performance videos there. Meet me tomorrow. I play every Friday, 5 o'clock, a live set using my electric trombone DJ rig. And then the next day on Saturday, I always do a sonic tonic where we listen and taste and learn how to listen like a musician. My good friend Ryan Anthony just passed away on Tuesday, 2 days ago. Brilliant trumpet player and founder of Cancer Blows Foundation to help cancer research. So we're going to feature his great music and message on Saturday at 5 o'clock. So good luck to all of you. Hope to see you in July with the intermediate live streams every Thursday at noon. Happy music making.